Hello everybody. As promised, we're going to be installing a shower system into Little Blue, our minivan stealth camper. And as you can see, it's actually not that complicated. Essentially, to get a power shower, unfortunately it'll be cold, because we're just going to run a hose from this garden sprayer here that we bought at Walmart for about $2.85 out to the spigot of the house or facility if you have running water. And what that will allow you to do is just simply use this as a shower head. It even has a little lock on it, so you can lock it down. Do it in one hand here. And you can adjust different streams however you want it. And that essentially is your shower. Now, you can only use this system obviously when you have access to running water, such as if you're parked at a house somewhere, or if you are at a campground or a campsite that has water that you can hook in. The other thing I wanted to point out is that instead of just using a regular hose, I went ahead and used a special hose that they make for drinking water. And the reason we use that is so that the water that we're piping here to the vehicle can also be used for cooking, drinking, and whatnot. So the hose itself, serves as a hose for bringing water here for drinking, and it can also be used to run the shower system. And as a bonus, you can take it, you can take this off and use it. Now you'll see that I have a piece of tarp here set up for privacy. This I don't think is really that important. If you're out in the boondocks, but if you're set up somewhere, where you want some privacy, you can set this up. And I'll show you how I mounted it. Essentially, I put a little eye hook thingy here, or the little, you can see that little hook. I drilled a little tiny hole, and then just screwed that in. Screwed it on the corner here. Then I followed the line here. I used the tarp, and actually laid it out to come across and lined it up with the other hole for the tarp. So you want to do that. That's how you determine where the hole needs to go. And then I did it again for this one up here. And then one more for the side over here. I basically laid out the tarp, lined up the eyelets or the holes that they have pre-punched into the tarp, and that determined where the hole would go. And the other thing you'll want to take note of is that the tarp, they don't put these holes exactly at the same places wherever they punch them. So you may want to label like this is the upper right side. Maybe write it on there or something, so that you'll know where it goes. Because if you try to flip it upside down or put it in the wrong location, the holes won't line up. So keep that in mind when you're doing your own system. Also, these holes that I put here on the corner, note these because they were put there for a specific reason, which I'll show you later. Because, in a small space, you want your items to have multiple uses. And even though it's set up right now for a showering system, we're going to be using these hooks for other purposes, as well as this tarp, which I'll show you later. Now, this is all fine and dandy when you have access to running water, like you're on grid or whatnot. But if you're not on grid, we also have other bathing or showering options. Oh, let me point out this too. I went ahead and ran a bungee cord from the, I guess it's called the hatch assembly thing, the arm thing that holds up the hatch, the rear hatch. I just ran it across from this part right here to the other side, and then simply just hung this on there. And you might be wondering how I plan on keeping the interior of the vehicle from getting all wet. And that's simply done by using a cheap shower curtain. And what the plan is you'll lay the shower curtain here to block all this stuff from the kitchenette, and then you can go ahead and take a shower. I also have some other items here that I'd like to point out. For $5, you can get this this multi-purpose sprayer, Flowmaster here. It's meant for weed killer or bug spray. It's only $5 from Walmart, and it essentially is a hand pump that you can put a gallon of water in. They have like a fill line right here, which is where you should fill your water up to. and you can pump it. This may already be pumped. Well, you can pump the water. Maybe it's already been pumped or something. But you can pump that, and when you push the button down, I think I have to pump it. Let me go ahead and turn off the camera because I'm having a hard time holding it and pumping it, so I'll resume here in a moment. Okay, it turns out that the pump actually had a lock. Like if you push it down and you turn it, it locks. So it like holds it in place. So you basically have to turn it counterclockwise and it unlocks. And then what you can do is you can just pump it up and down. And what that will do is build up some water pressure inside there. As you can see, it's getting harder to pump. Once you've pumped it up enough, you can push it back down and lock it into place. And if you just press this button here, you can see that it starts to spray. You can also push the button in and lock it in place. And this gives you another way to have a little sprayer on you. It's not as powerful as the water from the garden sprinkler. I wouldn't consider this a real shower more than I'd consider it a mister. But you can use it to get yourself wet or to even cool down. And then go ahead and soap up and rinse off as needed. And it is an option. It can be used as a pseudo shower for when you're off grid. Or it can be used as a mister to cool yourself down when it's hot outside. But the real way I would take a shower if I was off grid is actually not even showering at all, but using a bucket or a big bowl and filling it with water, and then putting a smaller bowl or cup inside and just scooping it up, wetting yourself, rinse off, and you're all set. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the full setup here so you can see what it'll look like. Okay, and here you can see the setup of how you would do it. You'd basically take the shower curtain, use this to cover up your kitchenette and keep water from going there. As a matter of fact, you even have a little area here that you can sit down on if you wanted to take your shower. And you have your shower head that you can turn on. You have the water that you can use. And basically run the shower. There we go. Enjoy.